Fairwater's the pinnacle of Australian real estate. There's just nothing really to compare it with. The sale of Elaine, which is the adjoining property, was extraordinary in itself. But Fairwater is an acre larger, and it just, the grounds, the view, on every level, it's just very, very special. And to get over 11,000 square metres of land on Sydney Harbour is just unheard of. And it would be impossible to repeat that. You would have to buy 11 standard Point Piper sites to get to this size. So it really is just a one-off. Internationally, to get a property as revered as this within 5 kilometres of the CBD and this land size on a harbour, again, is just unheard of. And it's just very extraordinary for a property like this to still exist. There's no house in Australia that has hosted the variety of functions, business functions, charity functions, with luminaries from all around the world. Royalty, royalty in the movies, royalty in business. It's just got an extraordinary history, and there are so many people that when they hear that this property is coming to the market, around the world, not just in Australia, will have fond memories of their time visiting Fairwater. Fairwater is unique in that it does all the talking. I can only distract people, and that's not what I want to do. The property really does speak for itself, and you see the expression on people's faces. They're not ready for it, and it's just that wow factor, and they have to really think it through and just absorb what they're seeing. Elaine is a property that I love, and it was an honour to be involved in the sale, and I was thrilled that the eventual buyer was going to keep the property together as one holding. And ironically, Elaine and Fairwater, they actually complement each other, and they add value to each other, because you've got Australia's basically two best properties together, and they're both about to be revived to their former glory. And you've got this extraordinary vista from the harbour. You talk about looking to the harbour, but looking from the harbour and looking back. It's very special to see these two properties. And Fairwater really is the largest of any property on Sydney Harbour. The scale of the property itself is extraordinary, and there are so many components to it. Beautiful gardens, pool, tennis court, things that individually you can find in a variety of homes, but to get them all together and to get them on this scale, that is what makes this so rare. It really offers a lifestyle that is incomparable within the Sydney market. It's an opportunity that I thought would never happen, and with Elaine and Fairwater, they're both legacy properties that have been in the Fairfax family for over 100 years, and they're not on the radar of properties that continually turn over. They're ones that have just been there and maintain quite an amount of mystique. So it was wonderful when Elaine came to the market, and a wonderful outcome. But with Fairwater, it takes it to another level because of the land size. It's an acre larger than Elaine, and the grounds are just extraordinary. So it's an opportunity that we didn't think would come, and it may be an opportunity that's only available to a privileged few, but at least that opportunity is there, and it may not come for another 100 years or more. Money can give you whatever house you want as far as construction and modern and features and so on, but you can't get this sort of land holding. It's just not available. And there's a lot more money than there are properties like Fairwater, because there's only one. Second guessing where the buyer will come from has been a priority of mine since I've been appointed. And it's interesting because there's always the buyers that are out there looking for, significant properties, but there are not buyers out there that are actively looking for a property like Fairwater because they just didn't conceive that a property like this would come to the market. So as well as the known buyers, there are sure to be people who are very happy where they're living at the moment in extraordinary properties, but this will just resonate with them and they'll think, I hadn't even considered this. It is my perfect next step or final step. And it's a reward for a life of success. So it's very, very special. Well, I've been privileged to sell many of the best properties in the country for decades, but I wasn't ready for the sheer scale of Fairwater. It's not what you expect to find in Sydney. It's what you would expect to find in Newport, Rhode Island, for example, because of the grandness of the estate, but not in Sydney Harbour, because over the decades, the land on Sydney Harbour has just been, it's so valuable, it's been cut up and continually. And this one has just remained the same. And I think that's the thing that really appealed to me. And also the gardens and the trees and the maturity of the whole estate is very, very special. The stories, I'd like to know half the stories, but it's a property that most Sydney-siders know of the functions that have taken place and the people that have visited, but it still maintains the mystique. So those stories are the tip of the iceberg of what the depth of what this home has to offer, and will offer again.